Hi everyone and welcome to Selective Preparation Power Thinking Skills Test 24. So today we are going through some questions that have been picked out of this test paper. Hopefully this video is useful in your revision. Let's begin. First question, drawing conclusions. So a criminal investigator has discovered the following facts. Either Debbie committed the murder or Neil did. Okay, so it's either Debbie or Neil that committed the murder. Okay, if Harry was not in the study at the time of the murder, then Lucas was. If Neil committed the murder, then at the time of the murder, Mark was in the dining room and Harry was not in the study. So Luke was not in the study at the time of the murder. Who committed the murder? Let's go through step by step. So if you look at 2, if Harry was not in the study, then Luke was. So Lucas is not in the study, so Harry must have been in the study. Okay, so Harry in study. Okay, we know that. So now if you look at 3, if Neil committed the murder, then at the time of the murder, Mark was in the dining room and Harry was not in the study. But we just established that Harry was in the study, so Neil must not have committed the murder. Remember from statement 1 that either Debbie or Neil committed the murder. So if it's not Neil, it must be Debbie. So therefore, A is the correct answer here. Remember, in all of these videos, feel free to just pause the video and read through the solutions. We have typed this up so that it's easier for you to comprehend why this is the answer, if by any chance my explanation doesn't make sense. Number 2, assessing the impact of additional evidence. So we want to find, the main conclusion in this statement. So many countries, because of financial instability, we use other countries' currencies, right? Because it's more stable. This because if the currency is too unstable, then the value is unstable, and then the transactions cannot occur, get the guarantee that the money is worth something. As a result, many of these places adopt the US dollar. So basically, to find this stability, right, we are using the US currency as a replacement currency. That is the main idea of this passage, right? For that stability, a stable currency, we are using the US dollar. So what would strengthen it? The answer is B. The US dollar is generally accepted as the global standard and is therefore very stable. So we are linking with the stability part. The US dollar is the US dollar and is accepted as the global standard. Global standard, countries abroad, many countries, international, all similar themes. So B is the best answer here. Next question, we have 4 friends, Jasmine, Hubert, Eugenia, and Lockie. Jasmine finished above Eugenia. Okay, so Jasmine and Eugenia. Notice I'm leaving spaces just in case people are squished in between. And then we had Hubert finishing in an odd number. So Hubert could either be 1 or 3. Eugenia finished with a time slower than Jasmine and Hubert. So Eugenia is going to finish slower than Hubert and Jasmine. So Hubert would be 3rd here. And therefore, Lockie would be 2nd, right? Therefore, the answer here is A. Jasmine finished 1st. Alright, next one. Analysis of skin cancer patients have shown that those who apply more sunscreen throughout their lives have a higher risk of developing skin cancer. More sunscreen equals higher risk of skin cancer. Jordan says this must mean that sunscreen increases the chance of developing cancer. Now, this is not true, right? There must be another explanation to this sunscreen. And we need to remember that even in this analysis, just because we saw that more sunscreen application equals a higher risk doesn't mean that the more sunscreen is a thing that caused the risk to be increased. There might be another factor that is at play. And in fact, there is. It's B. People who spend more time in the sun tend to apply more sunscreen. So even though they are putting more sunscreen on, because they are spending so much time in the sun, they are just at higher risk naturally to skin cancer compared to someone who's at home all day and doesn't even need to put on sunscreen. So that is a possible explanation. So that's why B highlights the error of Jordan's reasoning. He has made a causation here, causative link, when it's actually a correlation. Number 5. Okay, so again, we want to find a weakening statement. So many work sites, especially construction sites, there are different safety precautions to protect people that are working there. Often this means that even if one line of protection fails, other precautions make sure that workers are not at risk. Therefore, it is not necessary for these precautions to be carried with the utmost detail, as there are always backups. So this statement doesn't really make sense, right? We have to make sure that every precaution is carried to the best of our ability. We can't just rely on backups to help save us. The backups are literally what they mean, backups, right? So therefore, that is, we can already see a little flaw that we can pick on for the weakening statement. The answer is B. Not carrying out safety precautions in detail, right? In detail, can lead all of them to fail in a domino effect. So this basically shows why if you don't take care, right, and be attention to detail in all of these precautions, then there might be havoc, very negative consequences, and that would be a weakening statement here. Number 6, there were 4 students sitting on stage at the school assembly waiting to receive their prizes. Alan and Julia want to sit together. If they did, how many different arrangements are there? Okay, so we have Alan and Julia, right? They want to sit together. There's 2 other people. I'm just going to call them C and D. Okay, now if we group Alan and Julia, imagine they are linking arms. They can only travel together. Then we can have 1, 2, and 3 elements that move around, right? So we're going to have the box CD, box DC, D box C, C box D. So the box is A and J, okay? And then we can also have CD box, DC box. That is a total of 6. Now you have to realize in each of these boxes, right, we can also switch Alan and Julia. We're Alan and Julia or Julia and Alan. So I'm going to double this for the second combination probability. That gives 12 for option B. Okay. Number 7. So let's highlight. One of the world's most famous car races is the Monaco Grand Prix. So the races contain many tight turns within the center of the city of Monaco. As a result, many see the race as more exciting than others, as overtaking, one of the most exciting parts of the race, is harder and more dramatic. So basically we're saying that the Monaco Grand Prix is the most exciting race is conducted because the overtaking is the most exciting part of the race and it's more hard and more dramatic because of the size of Monaco. Then what would weaken this statement? The answer is A. The Monaco Grand Prix has the least overtakes on average out of any Grand Prix race. So we just established that overtaking is the most exciting part of the race, and if it has the least of these overtakes, then it must not be the most exciting, which is the main conclusion. So A weakens this statement the most. Number 8, if the information is true, who would be considered for the job? Okay, so the company decided that they will consider individuals that have had 3 years of business experience. In addition, if workers had overseas work experience, they'll be more likely to be accepted. Now notice the wording, okay? More likely doesn't mean definitely. doesn't mean definitely not. But they have decided to only hire people that had 3 years of business experience. This is the limiting factor. So this is the thing we have to be aware of. Amy says, I have been lucky to have worked overseas many times. I have 2 years of business experience. I'll be considered due to my overseas experience. So Amy is incorrect. The overseas experience only makes her more likely to be accepted, but she has failed the very condition that will let her be considered, which is the 3 years of experience. She only has 2. So Amy is incorrect. Cheyenne says, I have 4 years of business school experience. However, I have not worked overseas, thus I will not be considered. She is also incorrect. The 4 years of business school experience is more than the 3, therefore she will be considered. Even though she doesn't work overseas, that is only a bonus, right? Makes you more likely to be accepted. So that's why Cheyenne is wrong, and D is therefore the answer. Question 9. So our company is designing a logo, 3 stripes, there are 2 colors to choose from. Each stripe is in 1 or 2 colors, and adjacent stripes and stripes next to each other can't have the same color. How many different logos can we make? Let's pretend one of the colors is red, the other one's B for blue. Red, blue, red, blue, red, blue are the only probabilities. You can't have 2 colors that are the same next to each other. So the answer here is D. How many logos could we make if we use 3 colors instead of 2? Okay, so let's do red, blue, and green. Okay, we're going to have red, blue, green. We're going to have red, green, blue. Right? We're going to have blue, red, green, blue, green, red. We're going to have green, red, blue, green, blue, red. So these are the ones with all different colors. Now we can also have same color matchings, right? So we can have red, green, red. You can have green, red, green. Blue, red, blue. Blue, green, blue. Green, blue, green. Then we can have green, red, green. We already have that one. Red, blue, red. There we go. Okay, so those are the combinations that we can have. If we add them all together, we should have 10 or A. Okay. Yes. Okay. Key points from this test. So for qualify considered questions. So will she be considered one of those questions? Okay. Be hyper aware of the high modality words, okay, such as no one, everyone, okay, all, none. Okay, these are the words that will decide if a person fails or passes, right? A condition, not words like some people, okay, or more likely. So be very careful of that. The next one, let's go through and have a look. We got a lot of assessing additional impact, right? So for assessing additional evidence questions, okay, still pay attention or try to find the main conclusion first, and then find an answer option that has the best links to either weaken or strengthen that statement. Okay, so hope you learned something today. That is the end of today's video, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.